Naiwasaningaw na niba katara vakapinipinakatay bula oya wasala vilawa ndo pataki yao maina viwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina vakaromboka kako ni valatana no musini sari na kaisa moriendo loloma leone vani ni nau omgori kede maina viwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina vakaromboka ena Bula FM number 2 en sere.
Bula, I'm DJ Toro. Join me every Monday to Thursday, 7 until midnight. The premium classics on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Tonight on FBC News, Prime Minister receives second Airbus A330 aircraft. Sugarcane hybrid to boost Fiji sugar production. And AusAid increases funding for Fiji. Bula Vinaka, I'm Amrita Priyadarshini and you're with FBC News. Air Pacific has taken another step towards the modernization of its fleet with the arrival of its second Airbus, the Namukoi Lau, this afternoon. The brand new A330 flew over the Lau Group before giving a lap of honor over Nandi Airport. It touched down at around 3 p.m. and was given a water salute and a warm and traditional welcome by the people of Namukoi Lau. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama received the new aircraft, the second Airbus to arrive for the national carrier. Next month, Air Pacific will change to Fiji Airways, and the third and final Airbus will arrive in November.
Of course, the arrival of our second A330 can never be exciting as the first. But I believe this is equally special because we are reminded of the richness of our culture and the wonderful creativity of artisans like Makareta, who keep it alive and display it to the world.
The new Airbus is part of the airline's plans to revitalize the company after its financial turnaround during one of the toughest times in the global aviation history. The sugar industry is taking another major step towards its revival by gathering some of the best minds in the field to come to Fiji. These leading scientists have come from 8 different countries to see how Fiji can benefit from their success by introducing a sugarcane hybrid called Erianthus. As Christopher Chand reports, this variety could help boost production.
Research officers from thriving sugar-producing countries here to help the industry. The focus is on the popular sugarcane variety Erianthus. It has features that will help increase the production of sugar.
It is indeed a great pleasure to be with you this morning to launch one of the world's first international workshops on the breeding of Erianthus, to create a sugarcane variety that will drastically improve yield in sugar and fiber. It is nothing less than a potential game changer.
Sugar has been through its fair share of problems, but the government is focused on putting it back on track.
In Fiji, the sugarcane industry my government inherited 6 years ago was wrecked by neglect, mismanagement, a lack of vision, a lack of financial and commercial discipline, political interference, and corruption.
China and India are 2 nations that have been successful with Erianthus. The Sugar Research Institute of Fiji is hopeful this meeting will help us generate that hybrid here.
The development of the new cane varieties forms an absolutely critical part of the industry. We are gathered here to discuss a new horizon, a hybrid of Erianthus that is high in sugar, high in fiber, and resilient to common diseases.
Fiji has tried but failed in the past to produce this cane variety. The challenge now is to gain as much as we can from this workshop to be able to move the industry forward. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Over 1,093 submissions were made on the draft constitution, and Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says there are a few recommendations that will be considered. Bainimarama says it is a massive job, but they are not prepared to cut corners. However, he says they are also mindful of the election deadline. Bainimarama says changes will be made to the draft, especially in relation to land rights, and he hopes the constitution will be finalized by next month. A wide cross-section of the community is expected to benefit from the Australian government's aid towards Fiji for the period July 2013 to June 2014. Mikolonga reports Fiji has been allocated 58.2 million Australian dollars.
This is the first time ever Fiji has received such a big aid package from Australia.
The exact figure is around 105.5 million Fiji dollars. This represents an 18% increase overall in the program, but a 50% increase in the bilateral component of the program.
Australia is happy with its achievements in the last 18 months with funds it made available to assist Fiji.
We've immunised over 6,000 babies against rotavirus and pneumococcal infection. We've upgraded 648 classrooms, trained over 2,000 teachers, delivered over 68,000 textbooks to kids in schools. Over 2,500 people now have access to a range of new microfinance products. We've opened up a pathway for Fiji ginger to export into the lucrative Australian market. And we've also helped to restart production of local lime.
The new funding will be used to rehabilitate close to 200 primary schools, upgrade subdivisional hospitals, support civil society organizations, improve food security, increase incomes of 70,000 people across the provinces, help create new jobs, and increase income of 12,000 poor families. There's also provision for 80 scholarships for local students. The new funding also includes a $4.9 million assistance toward the electronic voter registration, the constitution process, and civic education. This assistance could well lead to the softening of the relationship between the two countries, which has been strained since 2006. Mikolonga, FBC News.
13 villagers of Soso Yesawa appeared at the Lautoka Magistrates Court today for allegedly assaulting a resort owner and his partner. They've all been released on bail and will reappear on the 21st of June. Enesi Ratunranra has been charged with 3 counts of assault, while Timothy Tukutuku was charged with 1 count. Lasaratu was charged with 1 count of damaging property, while the remaining 10 were each charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and causing nuisance. Former Post Fiji Managing Director Penny Mao and former Finance Manager Dhirendra Pratap will know their fate soon. The two are charged with abuse of office and extortion by a public officer. Mao is alleged to have authorized the payment of $5,400 to Pratap as a reward for the compilation of tax return in 2005 without the Board of Directors' endorsement nor the approval of the Higher Salaries Commission. Defence and FICAC lawyers made their closing submissions today. High Court Judge Justice Prabhaharan Kumararatnam is expected to sum up the case tomorrow. In the news ahead, Rotuma Island is homebrew free.
आपकी शादी होने वाली है 5 बच्चे होंगे 5 हाय मैं हूँ आपकी सहेली वेणु सुनते रहिए मिर्च एफएम मैं हूँ ना 9 से 12 बजे तक
I wake up in the morning, I prefer to go down to the gym, get a bit of physical work done. Also later on in the day, I decide to go through for meditation. I do a bit of reading to find out what the latest songs are, a bit of research. And for me, it's all about the listeners.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rio, and this is the Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 o'clock to 7, only on Today FM. Today is hit music. What's up?
Welcome back. Civil servants are now being trained to deal with work-related grievances. The Public Service Commission, through the Labour Ministry's Mediation Unit, held a 2-day workshop for officials from all government departments that ended in Suva today. Chanel Chivan with the details.
These officials are trained to set up policies that will resolve internal grievances. Labour Ministry's mediator Tevita Kunatumba says this is part of the PSC's reforms.
This is to help ease out, one, the problems within government, two, to allow for better relationship within the common services. And once we have that, it will also enhance the working relationship.
Kunatumba says Fiji is highly ranked in the Asia Pacific for resolving worker disputes.
In the mediation services, we set the platform right now for all in the Asian Pacific region. We hold the highest in terms of resolution of grievances for the last 4 years of our establishment with the Ministry of Labour. We have moved up from 75%. Right now we are targeting over 80% of settlement rates. And that is how we are targeting the resolution of cases.
So far, 80 government officials have been trained from all divisions. Shanal Shivan, FBC News.
Orange wine, commonly known as homebrew, was once famous on the island of Rotuma. It was this drink that kept police on their toes, dealing with problems that arose from the consumption of the locally brewed alcohol beverage. But as Apisalome Dhoka reports, Rotuma is now homebrew free, making this a huge success story, not just for police, but for the people on the island.
House-to-house visitation on the island of Rotuma and building a close relationship with the people is the engine room of the successful work carried out by police on the island. Rotuma was once famous for its sweet-tasting orange wine or homebrew, but this was causing a lot of problems.
From assaults, criminal intimidation, criminal trespass, annoying people or annoying person, common nuisance, burglary, indecent assault, arson, theft, and other miscellaneous offenses.
Today, the people on the island have turned their backs completely on homebrew.
That is one of the biggest achievements that we have achieved so far. As from 2010, we had the first celebration of Rotuma Day free. I would say it's a homebrew-free Rotuma Day celebration.
Inspector Semi Wangawono says people who visited the island during the festive season from 2010 witness how people have responded to police work.
During the festive season in December, whereby relatives from abroad and from Fiji have flocked the island. And for those who thought that they might come and enjoy the homebrew or orange wine, they were mistaken.
Inspector Wangawono says while police have worked tirelessly to achieve this, it's the people themselves who have made it possible.
People on the island have felt that those are some of the contributing factors to some of the crimes that occurred in the island. And by going away with it, they managed to greet the Rotuma Day celebration sober.
This is just one example of the successful police work on the island, all in a bid to make Rotuma a crime-free island. Apisalome Dhoka, FBC News.
The Catholic Church of Fiji is now looking forward to the ordination of its new Archbishop, Father Peter Lloyd Chong, on the 8th of June. The church made the announcement today, saying the ordination will be done at the Vodafone Arena with thousands expected to attend. Church spokesperson Tukini Dama says about $180,000 has been budgeted for the event.
Invitations have been sent out to the head of state, President Ratu Pelini Latikau, the Honorable Prime Minister Warangi Bainimarama, government ministers, the diplomatic corps, civil leaders and leaders of all faiths, and other dignitaries, in truth, the whole church and the wider family of God. You are all invited to come and join us in celebrating this auspicious occasion.
Father Lloyd replaces Archbishop Petero Matadha as head of the Catholic Church in Fiji. Currently in the US, Father Lloyd today graduated from St. Clair University as a doctor in theology. The economic valuation of Fiji's ecosystem and biodiversity is an extreme tool that contributes to a healthy environment. This was discussed last night during a panel discussion organized by the Department of Environment. Akasita Tale has more.
What makes Fiji unique? It's the many different species of animals, birds and fish that we have, some of which are endemic to Fiji. Very few realize that over 75% of Fiji's freshwater fish are migratory.
That means at some stage in their life, they either go down to the estuary or the sea, or they travel from the sea up to the headwaters to breed.
Fiji has very few resident freshwater fish, but they're at risk with developments such as the construction of dams in the upper highlands. The Fiji Electricity Authority says feasibility studies will be conducted to avoid damaging the environment, beginning with Navua. Biodiversity is a unique resource in Fiji, and there is a value to this endemic species that needs to be recognized.
I think the locally managed marine areas here in Fiji, that's a great example of something that incorporates local cultural values, modern techniques, and trying to manage fisheries on the ground. It also creates local employment.
However, this continued to decline despite major advances of how human populations and ecosystems interact and the applications used to revive this area. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
Jamie is here with Thursday Sports, and apparently there's a former flying Fijian that will feature for the classic All Blacks.
That's right, the Fijian public will have more to look forward to after the inclusion of none other than Fijian bad boy Rupeni Dhaudhau as a guest player. We'll have an update of Dhaudhau after the break. Also coming up, young netters off to tour New Zealand. Stay with us for that and more.
Bula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Centre Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on Ghar Sansar, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.
Welcome back. You're with FBC Sports. As mentioned earlier, Rupeni Dhaudhau has been included in the classic All Black side to play the Flying Fijians on June 12th at the ANZ Stadium. Classic All Blacks management say including guest players such as Dhaudhau in their team is a norm practice each time they play. The former national star has signed with Northland for the ITM Cup in New Zealand this season and is currently training with them.
The report on Rupeni is that he's dropped from 128 kgs down to 108 years old, playing late, and he's looking forward to coming over. We have guests from time to time. We include guests to play for the Classic All Blacks, and as I said right at the beginning with Classic All Blacks, is sometimes we don't agree with All Black selections anyway.
Hayden adds they have almost filled their playing roster for the match against the Flying Fijians. Today, the national under-19 netball side presented their itatau to the Minister for Youth and Sports, William Naupoto. They will be leaving later this evening for Trans-Tasman Secondary Schools tournament in New Zealand. This is the first time in over 30 years that a national school's netball representative side is touring overseas. Talen Daudakadaka reports.
After months of preparation and a good hit-out at the recent Fiji Games, the national under-19 team will be flying off to New Zealand for the Trans-Tasman Secondary Schools tournament. Presenting their itatau to Minister for Youth and Sports, William Naupoto, there is some hype amongst the players before the games.
Since this is my first time for me to represent the country, so kind of psyched up at the moment. Can't wait to go over. So yeah, I'm ready.
The tournament will feature 10 teams separated into 2 pools. Fiji is in Pool B, and officials are hoping that the side can finish in the top 4 standings.
Australian school teams has been in the finals almost every year. Likewise, Malaysia, when we look at Malaysia, they have finished in the top 4. So the teams are almost at the same level when we talk about strength.
The 15-member squad flies out tonight for New Zealand. The 4-day tournament starts on the 27th at the Energy Events Centre in Rotuma. Talendo Dakavaka, FBC Sports.
Since the establishment of the Fiji Sports Commission, 20 national sporting federations have benefited through grants. But that's not all the commission was set up to do. It wants to ensure sport is improved nationwide And as Elena MacDonald reports, steps to implement their strategic plan are already being taken.
Things are getting a lot busier for the Fiji Sports Commission. For every good deed performed, their list of demands from national federations seems to increase.
I suppose the challenges that have now come out of the Coca-Cola Games, for example, is that we now have 5 athletes qualifying for the World Youth Athletics. So we will have to look at ways that we can assist Athletics Fiji in some funding for that. And we'll work on that in the next few weeks with athletics.
Now, there's more plans to carry out sports education and provide equipment to as many rural areas as possible.
We're looking at running athletic clinics in Kandavu in July, and also in Mathawata and in the northern regions. We also take equipment which we leave there.
And even better is, once these programs are introduced, selected officers will be set up to monitor progress.
These officers will be there to follow up on all our development programs. We found there was a bit of a gap. We were for the last 20 years, we've been running, Sports Ministry has been running programs throughout the country, but we've missed out on our follow-up.
The Fiji Sports Commission's words are quickly being put into action, with the aim to improve the growth of the sport in the country. And if this momentum continues, Fiji could very well be up for medal contention when the next Olympic Games in Rio arrives in 2016. Elena MacDonald, FBC Sports.
Fiji's only running club, the Jet Runners, is bringing back the 10-kilometer road race after a lapse of 15 years. With news brought in from Nandi, Elena MacDonald finds out there'll be more to this Saturday's marathon than just its revival.
Gearing up for what should be a memorable event for Fiji's few marathon runners. And if you're an ardent road runner, Nandi will be the place to be early Saturday morning.
Yeah, all our events has been sanctioned by Athletics Fiji, and Oceania Athletics plus International Amateur Athletics Federation is interested in our program. So whoever comes first overall, first finisher will travel to Australia, Gold Coast, Australia, to represent Fiji in Oceania 10-kilometer road championship first week of July.
Surely an attractive draw card for those whose most recent long-distance runs have only been up to 6 kilometers.
I'm expecting some good runners, for good times for my athletes, but if somebody comes over, that's very good. And since we are reviving distance running, I hope so. There will be a good time, but I'm not expecting high because we have got young athletes, by the age of 17 to 18. So I'm expecting one of them will win, and whoever goes will do wonders for Fiji in Oceania 10-kilometer championship.
The Fiji Jet Road Race is open to anyone willing to take on the challenge. It may result in a ticket for one to compete in Australia, but by the looks of things, it's also going to mean the rebirth of a new generation of marathon runners in the country. Elena MacDonald, FBC Sports.
Well, there you have it. Nandi is the place to be if you're a running enthusiast like Amrita over here.
Thanks, Jamie. I'd love to be there, but unfortunately I've got work in the weekend.
Excuses, Amrita. Well, that's it from Sports Tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a good evening.
FBC's most popular show, Patani Tanoa, is now being taken out to the community. The show, since its beginning, has received overwhelming response and support. The iconic show not only deals with entertainment, but is educational, and will be taken to the West on the 15th of next month.
All your stars of Patani Tanoa like Nimi, Ben, Koli, Charlie and Noah are going to be there, and we want to give something back to the community.
And FBCTV's news breaks will also start in 3 weeks.
It's going to be a news break with a difference. The news breaks will be done in the vernaculars, in Itoke and Hindustani, on a nightly basis, 5 nights a week during the weeknights. But there is going to be something different about it.
Riyaz Syed Qayyum also says this is in line with other local programs that FBCTV will launch soon. Time now for Fiji's favorite and only weather girl.
I'm Rita. I'm thrilled to say that everyone around the country experienced brilliant sunshine this morning. We were at the Pearl Resort today for a bit and I had to stop myself from jumping into the pool. Unfortunately, the closest I got to water were the afternoon showers we had here in Suva. The Sugar City and Mombasa are the hottest on our chart with 33, the lowest today at 30 degrees. It's highly likely that we'll have brief showers in the capital and Savu tomorrow. Mombasa and the Western Division, on the other hand, should see some nice sunny weather. And we have Numaya Numataiwalu to thank for today's photo. This was taken at Raikiwai on Wakaya Island. The left side is part of Ovalau, the middle is Naingani Island, while the background features northern parts of Tailevu. Cheers Numaya for this stunning, unique shot. That's it from me. Keep those pictures coming, stay safe and stay smiling.
Thanks, Genevieve. The headlines again. Prime Minister receives second Airbus A330 aircraft. Sugarcane hybrid to boost Fiji's sugar production. And AusAid increases funding for Fiji. The poll question now. We ask, is it worth Fiji playing the classic All Blacks instead of the main team for centenary celebrations? Visit www.fbc.com.fj to take part. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, good night.
Nimbula, metangu nimilote na isoro tambua. Nama kia umina rua kina ona na veka vi monite kina pakarombuka. Rongo mena biasana kina viva ko baro takini ndreko malolo. Ena Radio Fiji One na wongani pioniano. Ngai nama kia kina.
Nisambula binaka, oya wane kamanalangi, oni nandorungo viau, may nadiwa kina rua na bisinga, may na monite kina pakarombuka, na Radio Fiji One nandome biti wongani pioniano. Nama katalangana bengo na sasibiani na tinakaloka na bembongi ni bukilulu. Kena bima maniwalu na bembongi ni bakaruwai, may nambuza ni balu, ningay namaka.